the girls are fighting again. Max Verstappen, George Russell, we have fresh insight. Welcome to Quick Stop F1. My name is Nyasha. You, of course, could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us. We appreciate that. Thank you for joining the channel and watching me tonight. Talk about two F1 drivers having an argy-bargy. What do we like more than that? I've got fluff on my... Anyway... If you're watching this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and of course, if you want to support the channel, much appreciated, you can support the channel as well. But why are we here today? We're here today because we've got fresh details of the war of words which shook the F1 world last year. That's right. Remember last year? I can't remember where it was. Was it in Abu Dhabi? Where George Russell essentially came for Max Verstappen, didn't he? He came for him after Max Verstappen. Essentially, there had been issues, I think. I mean, let's actually get the details up, right? Because I don't want to be someone who's, doing the whole, what do you call it? Misinformation thing. That's the last thing you want to do here. So it was after the Qatar Grand Prix. Verstappen received a grid penalty after Russell took avoiding action during qualifying, describing the incident as dangerous. If you recall, Verstappen stated after the race that he'd lost respect for George Russell, saying he tried to force a penalty on me and suggesting Russell presented himself quite differently when the cameras were pointing at him. By the way, this is from an article written by Fergal Walsh in Racing News 365. The link to that will be underneath. So, remember all of that. And then it came to, you think, okay, it's done there. A week later, we get to Abu Dhabi, and George lets rip. I think if you remember, he says Max is a bully. He will not stand for it. Other drivers are scared for him. I'm not scared of him. He put his British bias Brexit foot down. Huh? You know what? That actually deserves the sound effects. Hold on. Huh? Don't piss me off. Are you crazy? So George says all these things and we're thinking, okay, and then obviously it kind of basically starts to, that basically has a feeling where Max, I think, was actually quite taken aback by this. And essentially kind of I guess it was for us, it was the culmination of what was clearly an ill-tempered relationship between Max and George. I think it was no secret those two did not like each other, and as a result, this was it coming to a head. And almost George, I think in George's mind, almost laying down a marker to say to Max, I've seen how you've treated Lando Norris this year, like a toxic relationship. You've been cuddly and friendly with him on the paddle court, but when it comes to the F1 track, you've denied him, like Peter did Jesus, huh? You bullied him in front of everyone, made him look like a little picnic compared to you, huh? Don't piss me off. We're not fucking about this shit. So, George didn't want to have that treatment. So, George is saying, you know what? For me, I'm going to make sure that you can't... No, you're not going to little bro me. Okay? Now, what's come out in the news? And I guess, I don't know if Fergal has just found this quote randomly in Ted Kravitz's book and has decided to publish this now. Because, Ted Kravitz's book has been out for a while now, I want to say. But... it has sent F1 Twitter wild, where Ted basically claims that George Russell essentially orchestrated this. This wasn't like a sudden burst of emotion that he'd been bottling up for a week, and Ted's questioning just brought it out. It was orchestrated. So Ted says, a minute before his time slot, up strode George, called me over to the edge of the pen. Make sure you ask me a follow-up question. What do you mean? I asked. He replied, I'm going to give it back to Max. I've had enough of him bad-mouthing me in the press, and I'm going to call him out on his bullying tactics. Ooh. setting the scene is Ted there. You can feel the tension rising. A young George whippersnapper Russell striding over curtains like Zach Morrison Saved by the Bell, wandering up to fucking Ted Kravitz like, I've got something for you. You want a fucking story, geez? I'll give you a fucking story. Anyway, now Ted, he's gassed. Ted's like, he actually says, I had to check he was wearing a Drive to Survive microphone. Ted thought that George was capping so much that it had to be Drive to Survive. It had to be cap. There's no way. But you know what? Fair play to Ted. He said, let's go for it. And it's insane that's where it went. Do you know how bad it got? According to and this is how, you can't take F1 seriously, but according to Ted Russell, according to Ted Kravitz, tensions remained so high during the weekend that at the end of the season dinner between all drivers, Russell was the last to arrive. There were 2 vacant seats left, both besides Verstappen. Russell subsequently picked up one of the chairs and moved it besides then teammate Lewis Hamilton. They are now friends, though. I think it's all, they've all kissed and made up, and you know, they all go to paddle together, and this is the thing. What you man need to realise is, this is George Russell. You man that are surprised by this behaviour, you've been living under a rock. I'm sorry. Huh? This is the kid that when he was 16 done a fucking Photoshop presentation. Huh? PowerPoint ting when he was 16. This is the guy that as a younger is the GPDA driver president. Huh? He's the youngest boss man in charge. What did you expect? Of course Regina George Russell is there with his Bernberg writing in Max Verstappen's a fugly cunt. Of course he's done that. You guys need to realise as well, do you want entertainment? What do you guys want? Because I'm tired of people moaning. Do you want... We've had McLaren absolutely trying to fucking play-by-play manage this championship to the point where it's boring us off of our tits. We cannot stand this championship, even though it should be going down to the wire between 2 protagonists who've never won a championship before. That's boring at the moment. Or do you want a little snake who's willing to use the press to its advantage? And Red Bull fans, don't start acting like you're holier than thou when your whole come-up has been through the press. Christian Horner using the press to his advantage. Max Verstappen's little barbs and mental fucking games he played with Lewis Hamilton in 2021. Mental games he even played with Lando Norris. Do you remember when Max Verstappen and Lando Norris in the pen, like, Max, are you going to apologise? He was like, no. Probably never did apologise. It's all fun and games. Guys, stop taking this sport so seriously. I worry about some of you. I worry. Go and look after your kids. Go talk to your partner. This shit is hilarious. This shit is box office. I love that. That's why we tune into fucking Real Housewives of Formula One, bro. Because they're rich, scatty, petty little men. And we love talking about it. Let me know if you agree with that. If you think George Russell the Snake went too far in this instance. If you think Max Verstappen's been done so wrong. Oh, poor Max. Or if you think it's all just a bit of fun, like, do you know what I mean? Either way, let me know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the ting, all of them things there, huh? And I'll see you next time for a new video. Also, we've got a new podcast that was out yesterday, Real F1 Chattings. You get me? Check that out on the channel. Until next time, remember, no matter what life throws at you, keep it on the black stuff. You don't know already! Until next time, take care.